What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric. And did you know that this week is Work Zone Safety Awareness Week nationally? This year it's hosted by the Maryland Department of Transportation. And I just want to talk about work zones because I do my work in work zones. We set up temporary work zones on the highway. We take lanes anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, and it's a dangerous thing to do. And when you have the public driving through work zones, and a lot of times they're jockeying for position on who's going to get in front of the work zone first and be able to race out of the other side. And it's so dangerous, and people are so unaware that it's scary. A lot of times when we are in lane closures, especially in the general purpose lanes, it's terrifying because people come into those work zones bawling, and they just don't care about the workers that are there. And those aren't just figure pieces. Those trucks that you're coming up on with the arrow boards, those aren't just figure pieces. There's a human being inside that truck, in each one. And as you go forward, the bucket truck, that's not just a bucket truck that's on the side of the road. There's a human being there. There are people working. There are lives at stake. And there's too many of us that are willing to speed through a work zone and just think about ourselves and what we're doing. Paying attention to our phone as we're coming through a work zone, all kinds of different distractions that we're allowing for. It's because we have a me first personality, a me first attitude, a me first culture, and we don't even see that those working people are fathers, their sons, their daughters, their mothers, their grandchildren. They are part of a family structure. Their lives impact many lives around them. They are a lot of times community leaders, union activists, just community participants. And if nothing else, they're just human beings that are alive and doing the work that needs to be done to improve the infrastructure. And so in light of Work Zone Safety Week, I'd like to give you some tips for when you're traveling through a work zone. So I looked up a little bit of information for you, and I'm going to provide it here. Traveling safely through work zones. Traveling safely, slowly, and attentively through work zones is critically important, particularly as commercial motor vehicle drivers. Narrow lanes, sudden stops, traffic pattern shifts, and uneven road surfaces present unique challenges in these areas for large trucks and buses. In fact, large trucks are overrepresented in fatal work zone crashes. Do your part to stay safe with tips from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Our Roads, Our Safety campaign. First tip, research your route. Better setting out on the road, or before setting out on the road, research your route. When possible, avoid work zones and use any detours that are available. Number 2, pay attention. Be aware of all signs throughout work zones that can indicate reduced speeds, lane changes, and other important information. Avoid distractions such as your cell phone, eating, drinking, the radio, GPS, and conversing with other passengers. Number 3, slow down. Lane closures, traffic pattern shifts, and reduced speeds are common in work zones. Make sure to slow down when entering a work zone and keep an eye out for road workers. Hi, I'm a road worker. Please keep an eye out for me. Number 4, move into the open lane. When approaching lane closures, move into the open lane as soon as possible. Be sure to pay close attention to vehicles around you that could be in your blind spot, and ensure you're not traveling in someone else's. Number 5, keep your distance. Rear end crashes are extremely common in work zones. Always maintain extra space between your vehicle and the one in front of you. These are all great tips, and I, for one, would appreciate it greatly if you would use them. There was a second thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is for any workers really, but this is a email that I got from the IBEW, and it has to do with our presidential endorsement. And in all reality, we have two choices. We have Donald Trump and we have Joe Biden, none of which excites me one bit. So I got to imagine that it doesn't excite you either. But we do have to make decisions and be logical about the decisions that we make, because the labor movement is multifaceted. The weapons that we use are multifaceted. The strategy is multifaceted. We try to win campaigns to gain leverage through politics. We advocate for labor fiercely in the workplace, and that deals with the labor issue directly. We activate in community. We reach out. We try to make the community better, and that activates us in the community. It is all a multifaceted approach to try to lift and uplift the standard of citizenship for all workers and their families. That's the mission, folks. That's what we are a part of. We are the 99%, and we act accordingly. Now, again, this choice is not exciting, and I get that, but we do have to make a decision. So let's talk about it. Let's read what was sent out. Dear sisters and brothers, the IBEW is on an extraordinary winning streak. Over the past 3 years, we have witnessed the power of our union to bring work, high wages, and long-term job security to members across the country. We have done so by helping to write these laws that are delivering billions of dollars across all IBEW industries and creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs in just the next 5 years alone. Most importantly, these investments come with the strongest labor protections ever written. Even better, these laws reward the companies and contractors that work with union labor and penalize the ones that violate prevailing wage. A tidal wave of work is coming with the IBEW written all over it. I want to pause there for a second. There is no doubt that work life is better under Biden than it was under Trump. The NLRB itself has been very good under Biden. It was not very good under Trump. This is just a tangible thing. We have to understand that the GOP would love to have a national right to work law. They would love to undermine unions and eliminate them entirely. They would love, if nothing else, they would love to have the cheapest labor with the lowest overhead and maximize and take all of the profits to give to the very, very upper echelon. If you don't know that by now, I don't know what else to tell you, but these are the facts on the ground. The NLRB has been good under Biden. He appointed some good folks to be on the NLRB, and they've done a good job. That's what I wanted to say there. Let's go ahead and keep reading. These advantages are handmade by the IBEW for the IBEW. They're proof of what we can achieve when we have a seat at the head of the table. When we can turn our ideas into law, it means corporations must now engage with union labor to get the federal dollars they want. And pause there. Also, Tennessee and Georgia, those states are putting into effect laws that make it so that companies cannot get public funds for works if they choose to recognize the union voluntarily. Understand the dynamics of how the fight is going. When the IBEW is valued as a partner by the federal government, it means new, stronger rules for organizing. It means we will be the face of clean energy. It means the return of American manufacturing for the first time since the 50s. It means union labor is a priority, and everyone in this room wins. That's true. That's a factual statement that you need to recognize. Let's be clear. None of these wins would be possible without President Biden's administration. He has stood with the IBEW every step of the way on these laws and rules. He has included us where others ignored us, asked us what was best for the IBEW, and turned our demands into stronger worker rights and long-term energy jobs. This is why I and the officers have endorsed President Joe Biden and Vice President Harris for a second term. This administration is not just the most pro-union in history, it is the most pro-IBEW administration in history. That's not opinion or talking point. It's truth based on their track record. In politics, the record is the only thing that matters, and it's the only way the IBEW chooses whom to endorse. We back who back us. Remember that the fight's not left and right. It's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one, get out there and reach one. There could be no union without you and I.